Buddy Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Monday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. A lot to get into. This past weekend was the AEW Wrestle Dream show. And we got full recap from that show. The Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, I Quit match. Got a bunch of title matches, in fact, on that show. Brodita versus Okada and Takeshita for the AEW Tag Team titles. Joe and Hangman for the AEW title. Lots to talk about, so we'll go over that. There was also a SmackDown show with an awesome return of Ilya Dragunov, who won the title from Sami Zayn in the Open Challenge. We'll tell you about that. Raw is tonight. We'll tell you about what's going on that show. NXT and AEW Dynamite over the next couple of days. Dynamite actually has some matches already. Even though they had a pay-per-view this weekend, we already have 3 matches announced for the show. So we'll tell you about that. Plus, we got a lot of health updates. We got some people who have passed away. We've got some people who are hospitalized. So I want to wish the best to all of them. We'll talk about all of those here today on the show. Mercedes has won yet another belt. We'll talk about the possibility of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Nakamura coming up at the Tokyo Dome show. Jacob Fatu lost all of his teeth in an angle. We'll tell you about what happened there and when he is expected to be back. Dynamite and plenty more. If you'd like to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4W Online at gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez X and Blue Sky. Filthy Tom joins us after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
Happy birthday, dear Granny.
Happy birthday, Granny. Happy 95th birthday.
Thank you.
You got balloons behind you as well, Vinny. People can't really see them.
No.
They think it might just be your hump. But it's a very festive
I
day
should not
today.
laugh at that. That's a horrible insult that you just gave
Yeah,
me.
you laughed. It was a good
But it
one.
was funny.
Happy birthday!
Okay.
Happy birthday, Granny!
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, I don't even know what you just said. Okay, go.
Bye!
Bye, girls. Close the door, please. Rob Wanska, a top fan. That granny is one of a kind. If you cannot see that, you're blind. Whether she's knitting a quilt or giving Brian some guilt, she's the greatest old gal that you'll find.
Was that, who was that?
Producer
That was
Rob.
Rob.
Producer Rob?
Yeah.
Fine
like
job,
that.
Rob.
He has talent?
Thank you,
Great.
Rob.
Wow.
This is Mariah May versus Anna J. Anna has a problem. Her top seems to want to drop down. She has to keep pulling it up. Mariah pins Anna for the win. I think Anna just gave up due to the fact that her wardrobe was malfunctioned.
That's what happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, if they wore decent clothes, it'd be better. Those T-straps are ridiculous.
Those what?
T-straps. Don't you know what a T-strap is?
No, I do not know what a T-strap
I don't think
is.
there's a T-strap in Brian's closet, Granny.
No.
I don't know.
T-strap. Oh, a thong? Why don't you say a thong?
A what?
Never mind. You don't know what a thong is?
No.
Why are we having this conversation?
What part of the body is it on?
Does it go on the
Woman.
top or the bottom?
On your
Butt?
butt. Yep.
Okay.
Granny had to be very careful. So it's a thong.
Why are we having this conversation?
According to the Old Testament of the Bible, who is the father of both Isaac and Ishmael?
Job.
Abraham.
Wrong.
Oh, really?
Abraham.
I just...
Did you say that?
Yes, he
I'm sorry.
did.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Yeah.
I just didn't hear you.
Well, Granny, I hope you had a happy birthday today.
I had to.
Hey, we got a special present for you. You are officially being inducted, yes, into the Hall of Awesome.
It's about time.
Yes. You know what that is,
Oh,
Granny?
Wait a minute. I want everybody to see this. How can I show it?
Clearly, Granny is really excited about being inducted into the Hall of Awesome. She's busy showing off her trophy.
Is that an old gray mare trophy?
It's got a horse on it for some reason. Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today. What'd you think of all the shows this weekend, Tom?
I was entertained.
Yeah? What'd
Yeah.
you watch? SmackDown?
Yeah, I watched SmackDown. I watched
Wrestle
I guess
Dream?
Probably half of Wrestle Dream.
Yeah, which half?
Chosen
I see.
segments.
You
from
picked
Wrestle
and
Dream, I guess.
chose. Well, we got a lot to get into. Before we get into all of the frivolity, should mention we have 2 people who passed away, 2 people in the hospital. So Duke Rufus
Yeah,
passed away. I was stunned when I read that.
as was I.
55 years old. He was a world-renowned top MMA coach. Also, if you're a pro wrestling fan, he's the guy that trained CM Punk and coached him for his UFC fights. Tyron Woodley, Anthony Pettis, Sergio Pettis, Ben Askren, Stephen Bonner, and many others. And very, very shocked to hear that. How well did you know, or did you know Duke Rufus?
I knew Duke Rufus a little bit. I mean, I met him, ran into him, partied with him many times after UFC events. And he's going to be known for, obviously, putting out great fighters, being known as one of the top coaches. He had one of the best gyms coming out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, of all places. He had one of the best gyms for years in mixed martial arts, a pioneer in the sport. And he was also a world champion competitor as well. So he had been at it for a long time. He was the kind of guy, Brian, I know you don't drink, but he was the kind of guy you're like hoping you're going to run into at the after party, because he was always just cool, easy to talk to, great stories. And, you know, he's going to be greatly missed.
What does that have to do with drinking?
Because we're hanging out at the bar.
I see. I got it. I didn't know what you were getting at there. Like he could drink everyone under the table or something. So he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Well, all the
Sucks.
best. All the best to him and his family. And 55 years old, way too young. Passed away in his sleep.
Really not much older is the next guy you're going to talk about either, which kind of shocked me.
Mo of Men on a Mission passed away at 58.
58.
Severe blood infection and pneumonia. Kidney transplant 2018. COVID 2022. Lots of health problems over the years. He teamed with Viscera, Big Daddy V. They became Men on a Mission.
Mabel.
And Mo.
And Oscar.
That's right. And actually there was I'm not sure where it is, somebody put it on the board, but we did an interview with him several years ago. It was only about 20 minutes, but it's up on our board right now, interview with Mo. But he was, 58 years old. Just 2 under 60, which is not good. All the best to his friends and family as well.
Yeah, he had been in the hospital for a couple weeks. Whenever, a couple weeks ago, the day you were gone, I mentioned it on the show that I did, but I believe he was in the hospital with pneumonia and that blood infection at the time, and unfortunately, didn't recover.
Then we got Todd Gordon in the hospital, but we don't really know why. His family said, "We want to share that Todd Gordon is in the hospital, has been for some time. If you've reached out and haven't heard back, please know he's not ignoring anyone. He's focusing on his health right now. He's unable to receive visitors. We appreciate love, support, and prayers. Please keep him in your thoughts." And no other information. So I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully something works out with him. And also Rikishi, who is 60, is also in the hospital. Unexpected surgery recently. No details available. He's expected to make an announcement in the near future. Said to have pulled out of multiple bookings. And the story is emergency surgery. So that's another one. Man, 4. 2 in the hospital and 2 passed away to kick off a Monday. So all the best to everybody there. Then we've got something involving Jacob Fatu. I don't know what it is, but it appears to be something involving his teeth. They did an angle on SmackDown where he was supposed to be in the main event, but they pulled him from the match, and then they did an angle where he was laid out backstage. Well, I mean, they didn't pull him. I mean, they did an angle to get him out of the match. He was laying underneath this metal gimmick, and it's pretty graphic by WWE standards. He's like laying in a pool of his own blood and teeth. There were teeth scattered all over the place. So apparently he needs some sort of, I don't know if it's dental surgery. It's something involving his teeth. And I believe he will be back maybe by Survivor Series weekend. So he's going to be out for a while, but the initial reports said he would be out until deep into next year. I'm not sure what the story was there.
I mean, it could be something that requires him getting teeth pulled and having to have his jaw wired shut. Maybe he has a broken jaw. Maybe there's an abscess or something. I mean, there's a number of reasons why you may have to have dental surgery that could keep you out of action.
Yeah, so hopefully he's back sooner rather than later because he was getting pushed hard.
Yeah, you think he was attacked by Danhausen?
Danhausen, you say?
The teeth.
Yeah, it's possible, but I think that's probably unlikely.
Improbable, huh?
So what did you think about the Sami Zayn Ilya Dragunov match?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I need to grab a box of tissues like you seemingly do every time it comes up, but it was a fantastic match.
Tell me about
fight
it.
From start to finish.
I thought it was better than most of the matches on the AEW pay-per-view. Not all of them, but
well, it depends what you're into, I think. You know,
great wrestling.
Yeah, and I mean, Ilya Dragunov is one of the more unique wrestlers with his in-ring work. Really, when you look at the lay of the land of professional wrestling nowadays, his big strength is his selling, his over-emotion, really, in a lot of ways, but it comes across well on the big stage. So I thought that match was great, as I know you did as well.
I got to say, man, these guys that come back, I mean, when Kenny Omega came back and had that match with Gabe Kidd, and it was like, that's one of the best matches of the year for a guy that hadn't been in action for a year. And then, you know, Ilya Dragunov returns. He hasn't been wrestling for a year. He's got a giant knee brace on. It's like the guy never left. He was absolutely incredible in that match. Like, it's funny because sometimes, you know, people are gone for like 4 weeks and they've got ring rust. And then there's the other guys that are gone for a year and they come back and they're as good or better than when they left. Yeah.
It's all individual, baby.
You started to say something and then...
Yeah, then you cut me off. So
what
now
were you
going to
say?
on. Sometimes you lose the thought.
Oh, my God. Why don't you take over the show? Go for it.
Well, I probably should since you got somebody vacuuming in the background anyways. What I was going to say is that sometimes with, you know, we talk about the wrestlers having a reduced schedule and it being bad for them. But sometimes when you come back from an injury, knowing that you only have one match a week, you can go harder in that one match a week because you know you have more time to recover. And, you know, perhaps that's the case that we see with guys coming back now. They know they don't have to wrestle for 10 out of the next 14 days at a hard pace. They can go hard twice. They can recover a little bit and then hopefully move on and get healthier. I'd like to welcome Bryan back to the show if he's ready.
Oh, now I see how it works. You legit idiot. Well, we'll talk about the full SmackDown report a little bit later, but we're going to go to a commercial break and recover, regroup, and we're going to talk about this AEW pay-per-view.
Recharge.
Right, Tom?
The vacuum.
Yeah. You're a co-host, brother. Let's do this together. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sit and
I got that one
me?
down.
kick my
Sounds like
feet.
my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay.
What's the best part about having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
How
was
do you
a
have that so quickly?
ridiculously fast answer.
You've thought about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze. Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late. And then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're going to have a heart attack
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody, goody.
Goody goody, she says. The news of you having a
What
Cardiac
medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Ray Ripley. Just recently.
That's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one. Because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper Eminem grow up?
Detroit.
Eminem? Eminem!
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment. Granny reads rapper names. That's
Eminem.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan Adams.
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Brian and go away.
Thanks, Granny. All right. Let's try this again. So, this past weekend was the Wrestle Dream show. And Tom picked and chose what he watched, so I'm going to start, and if you saw something, you let me know, okay?
Sounds good.
Did you watch the whole Jet Speed FTR match?
Only the pay-per-view portion.
Well, that's what I saw as well. Yeah, they started
I'm
this...
not watching this the prelim BS. It's like
Yeah,
the
they-
UFC. I'm not showing up for that crap.
I
Get
should
the
have
real show on.
I should have known Friday that something was up because I think they only had like 7 matches scheduled for the main show. So you knew something was going to happen. And one of
You
them...
knew they couldn't just do 4 hours.
No. I knew that, well, we knew that Mercedes was going to appear. But like the day of the show or something like that, on social media, they announced that she was going to do an open challenge for any champion in the building. So that was an added match. And then they started Jet Speed and FTR with 3 minutes left on the pre-show on TNT. And goes off the air, you have to buy the pay-per-view to see the rest of the match. So it doesn't bother me because I bought the pay-per-view, but I do know there were people that were watching for free that felt like they got ripped off because they were advertised a match, they got 3 minutes, and then were told you have to pay $50 to watch the end of it. So it was a mixed bag. I'm not sure how many people. My guess statistically is 0 people who were not going to buy the pay-per-view saw 3 minutes of the match and decided, I've got to buy it. But they tried something new. So they do this.
If you purchased on Amazon, you didn't have to pay any money because you could request a refund because they cut the show off before the main event.
Well, yeah, Amazon had problems, and Xfinity had problems. Xfinity, people couldn't even order the show. Amazon, it went off the air at the top of the hour because they thought, why would a show go more than 4 hours, I guess? And
that's on
it did.
That's on whoever has Xfinity for having Xfinity.
Well, Xfinity
Like,
does
move
suck.
on.
Yeah. So Jet Speed FTR was an excellent 8-minute pay-per-view match. They did the Bobby Heenan Rick Rude Ultimate Warrior spot. Stokely grabbed Speedball's foot. Dax fell on top, got the pin.
No.
I mean, it was great for them.
No, that's not what happened. Stokely missed the foot. Dax grabbed the rope,
I see.
and then Stokely held the foot down.
I got it. We had Tekla and Jamie Hayter. They did this match in front of Charlie Thez, who had the time of her life. And I thought this was a very good match. The only issue I had was they made Tekla look like an idiot. She does her spooky spider crab walk spot, stands up, and immediately gets lariated and hit with the Haterade for the pin. So that was that.
Yeah,
Queen
it was a good
Aminata
match.
celebrated. And they teased.
I thought maybe a little too long.
Well, you know, if you
Like
look at
20
this
minutes,
show,
right?
the whole show went a half hour too long, for being honest. And everyone's talking about, why don't you just do the shows in the afternoon? And you could. They don't seem as long when you do it in the afternoon. But also, you could cut 20% off of every single match on this show, and it probably would have made for a better show. It would have been 4 hours, and you would have got all the same matches and all of the same action. So that would be my recommendation. I don't think any show needs to really go more than 4.5 hours for the main show, or 4 hours, but they like their 4.5. So that was that.
I'm good with 4.
Yeah, 4 should be
is
the limit.
long enough.
Yes.
It used to be 3, and everybody was fine with that.
Yeah, I just watched
when did we change our minds
I-
as a collective society?
I just watched the TNA pay-per-view, and it was 3 hours long. And I didn't hear one complaint that it wasn't long
Well-
enough. I mean, the show sucked, so we were glad it ended.
Yeah, I mean-
But, like, even if it were good, I mean, I've watched good TNA pay-per-views, nobody complains. You know, this all started, it honestly all started when WWE went to the network and they didn't have the 3-hour limit anymore. And, you know, they would do longer WrestleManias as well. But one show a year, if you want to go 4 hours, that's fine. I think in general, 3.5 hours is plenty enough for a pay-per-view if you stack it. We had Young Bucks and Jurassic Express, $500,000 going to the winner. And actually, Bound for Glory went 4 hours. Yeah. So it wasn't 3 hours. But that is their big show of the year. But I believe
Does that include the pre-show, which had that call your shot gauntlet? Because that felt like it was 4 hours.
Yeah, that was a long match. So we had Young Bucks, Jurassic Express, $500,000 going to the winner. And this match was fantastic. It's like we have not seen Luchasaurus or Jack Perry have a match this good in years. And obviously part of it was being in there with the Young Bucks, but it was also what they did. Like, this is the best working Luchasaurus I've seen. Jungle Boy he's so much better served as a babyface. Place was going absolutely wild for this match. And finally at the end, they tried the TK driver. Luchasaurus broke it up. Nick got sent outside. They hit Matt with their finish. They won the $500,000. The Bucks are still broke. This also probably could have been, you probably could have cut about 10% off this match, but it was still incredible.
Sure was. One of the most creative matches you could ever see if you're looking for counters to, pretty well-known high spots. I thought they pulled off everything immaculately. This was wild in a good way.
Then we had the Don Callis family hitting the ring. Kenny Omega's music hit. They're teasing Kenny Omega reuniting with the Bucks, but this is the usual slow build. Bucks, he tried to talk him into going to help Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, but they just left. So he helped make the save, and that was that. 2 matches in 1 hour on a show with 9 matches. That's when I knew this one was going long. Hurt Syndicate GOA Tornado match, #1 contendership. I actually thought this was the best match these teams have had together. And they were handicapped because they were in St. Louis, and there's a wrestling commission. And apparently the commission stipulated no crowd brawling, no blood. They wanted a list of spots, like if there was going to be something even mildly nutty. I mean, they were hardcore. And so these guys had limitations. But still, in a tornado match where they couldn't brawl in the crowd and had to stay in the ring and around ringside, I thought it was a really good match. And the Hurt Syndicate won. They are number one contenders to the Ops and their trios titles. We had Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe for the TNT title. And, of course, Kyle Fletcher won. And I thought the match was an excellent match. But there was something about it that was missing. I think maybe the idea that anybody thought that Mark Briscoe was going to win. And it's funny because every time I say that, we got people going, I thought he'd win. I thought he'd win. But I would think the vast majority did not think he had any chance of winning.
I just assume Mark Briscoe is losing every single match.
That's what they've taught you.
Honestly.
Yeah, he's going to lose every single match except every now and then.
Yeah, he'll get a big win where it's kind of like a surprise, but it's not really because he's so good.
Yeah, I thought these guys, I mean, they're always great. And then, like, they teased afterwards that they might do 2 more matches, like at the post-fight presser. So, I don't know, man. I think Briscoe should have won and get Kyle out of the mid-card, and he's just a main event guy. And he's going to be in contention for the title. And, you know, he can have a roadblock here or there if you want to do something else with Hangman for a while, but he needs to be in the very top mix. And Briscoe needed to win the big one.
I think you could have, if they're going to do a best of 7, like has been speculated, then I think you have Briscoe win that. I think Fletcher still moves up to the main event scene, hangs out there, and then when he's ready to win the belt, you have a ready-made program with Mark Briscoe that they can go back to for a title defense and then go from there.
Then we had Tony Storm and Chris Statlander for the women's title. It was all right. I would say it was good, but there was really no heat for this match at all. And, you know, they're doing kickouts and big moves, and crowd's just quiet.
Weird build to the match.
The build was weird. The match was kind of weird itself. And finally, at the end, Statlander had her in a finish, a submission. Tony refused to quit, but then she screamed at her, "Just murder me." So Statlander picked her up and hit Saturday Night Fever and won. And they did an angle afterwards where Tony and Mina Shirakawa, who also lost on this show, were all sad. They lost everything. And then Mina says, "We've got each other." So clearly they're going to be a tag team in the women's tag team tournament, brackets of which come out Wednesday. What were you saying?
Nothing. I don't know. Move on.
Tom, I got to get through the review and then you can give your thing, brother. Why are you so hurt today?
Just move on to the next thing. I didn't see the match.
Yeah, you're going to talk about it? You didn't even see it? You're going to talk about the build?
That's why I didn't talk about it.
All right, what about the build then?
What do you want me to say?
What was so weird about the build?
I thought you said you had to get through it.
Well, I wanted to get through the match, but now you can talk about the build if you want to give your 2 cents.
I don't. I just like the
It's like
Tony
I'm training
Storm.
you on air here.
I like the Tony because I'm going to get somebody's going to be mad because I like the Tony Storm character better when she was a starlet and not like a hypersexual whatever is going on now. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. It was a very weird build. It was 2 baby faces, and the interview segments were just weird. I think it would have been better to just announce the matches taking place and do some video packages on how each woman is a killer. I think that would have been more effective than what they did. So Mercedes issues a challenge. Any champion in the back, it is accepted by, and I quote, the Ring of Honor interim women's television champion, Mina Shirakawa. And they do the match, and it is a fine match. It has no heat. Not one single Earthling believes Mina Shirakawa is going to win. They do all of the stuff back and forth. Finally, the last, I think, 2 minutes had, like, really good heat. But then they do the same finish as DeBriscoe. They tease bumping the ref, and then the heel does something dastardly behind the ref's back to steal the win. And Mercedes now has 11 belts, although that's already outdated, as she won her 12th belt yesterday. We can talk about that more in a minute.
She should just win that ROH women's pure title as well.
Well, my question is shouldn't she, like, let's say that I don't know how it works. I feel like they could, like, strip Red Velvet of the actual television title because she's not going to be back for a while, and then Mercedes just collects a 14th belt. I don't know. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
I am going to channel the well-known, infamous roast of Bryan and Lance.
Oh, my God.
I vaguely remember this.
Lance was a champion in virtually every company he has appeared in. While he did hold the distinction of holding 3 titles, that angle fizzled out faster than his podcast, Killing the Town.
Wow. I now remember this utter disaster of a roast.
Let's get Lance a chair to sit in. And as we do, could we also bring someone up here to show him how to use it? I remember that chair shot. I don't remember who it was on, but
utter silence that this roast was met with.
Tom, at least I was smart enough not to do those chair shots again.
Bryan, besides me, there are others who I'm sure dislike you, like Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, but I think you're great. Like a guiding light or a father, which is why I'm not surprised when you screw me every week. The best-selling author of The Death of WCW. He had just completed his new book, for which actually Lance Storm wrote the foreword, which is 3 more than most wrestling fans know.
Hideous. Atrocious.
It must be hard when you look so young. If I didn't know better, I'd say you had your grandma's genes. But actually, if the camera panned down, I bet Lance is wearing them. Anyways, let's start the show. Carmelo went for the La Mystica. Andrade went for the Message.
It's actually not the La Mystica. It starts like a La Mystica, but the La Mystica is actually a submission, and he doesn't land in the submission. He just does the whole slam part and then jumps up.
Yeah, the La Mystica is a tilt-a-whirl head scissor into a Fujiwara armbar.
Into a Fujiwara armbar. The La Mystica is not the submission. Do not tell me.
I didn't say that was a submission. I said the La Mystica involves the tilt-a-whirl facebuster into the submission. The whole thing. Why are you so angry?
Well, you just changed what you said in live, right?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't land in a submission. He just slams them. So it's not a La Mystica.
I believe that's the actual move.
Okay,
but
whatever. Who cares?
I just hope Editor Sean pulls up the exact clip of you saying La Mystica's a submission and then denying it afterwards.
La Mystica is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a submission.
La Mystica is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a submission.
Editor Sean.
So yeah, Mercedes won her 12th belt this weekend. Let's see if I can find it. All of this news here. Where is it?
Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. She beat Jody Threat.
Yeah, Jody Threat, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling.
There we go, off the top of my head.
Good job. 12 titles.
Pro.
I like to read it. You know. So she's now got the TBS title, interim Ring of Honor Women's Television title, CMLL title, Body Slam Women, Discovery Wrestling Women, EWA Women, Rev Pro Undisputed British Queen of the Southside Women's title, Primetime Wrestling Women's title, Best Ya Women's title, WPW Women's title, AW Owen Hart Women's Tournament Winner title. So there you go. You know, there's a big thing online today. I guess people were saying, like, this doesn't help the indie promotion she wins the belt from, and you know, then, you know, I think it was actually the Winnipeg Pro Wrestling promoter talked about, you know, everyone loved to see her and kids were so happy and they cry and this and that. My issue is not the other promotions. Like, obviously it helps if Mercedes Moné goes to your indie promotion and wins your title. Like, that's all great. My issue is, like, what is this doing for Mercedes on the actual AEW show that I watch? She's got a bunch of belts. What's the end game? What is the end game to this?
She unravels.
Is the end game that she's going to go all over the world and lose 12 matches on 12 indie shows?
I think so.
You think that's going to happen?
The way it's set up, I don't know how else you can get out of it otherwise. She just rides off into the sunset and disappears.
Well, I mean, there's two ways you can get out of it. One is she puts all the belts on the line against someone else who wins them, and then they go around
has
the
to
world.
lose.
Yes, there's that.
So who's that gonna be on the AEW roster?
Harley Cameron.
Who could beat her and then lose to everybody else?
Actually,
Harley Cameron or like Billy Starks.
If you're really high on Harley Cameron, it actually would be great because number one, it'd be a big win for her, and number two, she'd get a lot of experience going around the world, dropping 12 titles in 12 different indies. Or the other thing is either in real life or in storyline, Mercedes gets injured and has to vacate them all. Or maybe she'll go around the world and drop them. But given how strongly they protect her, I'm skeptical of that. But we shall see. All right. What else do we have on this? Where were we on the AEW show?
Maybe Okada, Takeshita.
Okada and Takeshita versus Brodito for the tag titles. What did you think of that one?
Oh, fantastic.
You had to watch
match.
it.
How could you not? I thought, what a great performance by all four guys, Okada included, which sometimes nowadays you have to question when you say that. But that drop kick, they did a sequence where like each guy was doing, obviously they did a lot of sequences with guys doing big moves, but this was the 4-man suplex, I think, and then there was
quadruple German.
A drop kick by Okada to Bandito as he came off the top rope. That was just insane. Yeah, this is like a can't miss grouping of four guys here.
Yes, I would have argued for 20% shorter because it did almost go 30 minutes, very late in the show. If this would have gone on first, I wouldn't have complained about the length, but being this late in the show, that was a long time. But I will say that what they did, like everyone in the match was awesome. And the storyline with Takeshi and Okada, they're great working together. And it did really build to the big spots there at the end. And, Bandito's still selling a shoulder injury, which is not legit, but it is a story. And he went for the 21 plex, but his shoulder gave out. And so Brody grabs Okada, kills him with a pile driver, and then screams to Bandito, "Never stop fighting." So Bandito fires up, one arm, 21 plex, one arm, and he gets the pin.
Like, you need to take raclette, you need to take blue, you need to take Stilton, you need to get every kind of cheese imaginable, because at the end, it was the cheesiest thing you've ever seen in your life when Brody King goes, "Bandito, you need to never stop fighting." And then he hits his finish.
Brother, it worked.
It was like it was from an action movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? An action movie from the 80s. It was so sweet.
I got a criticism, but it's not about the match itself. It's about the booking. So, Bandito gets the big win over Okada. And that's great, okay? But they've already announced that now Bandito faces Okada for Okada's title on Wednesday. And it's like, oh, man. So now we got to beat Bandito? Like, he just got this great giant win, but, like, Tony doesn't like beating anybody, so if he beats you, you've got to immediately get a big win on the next show?
Well, maybe,
so, like,
maybe it's time to do the rare DQ finish. Maybe it's time to do the no contest. Maybe it's time for Takeshita to finally get his revenge a little bit on Okada, because Okada nailed him with the clothesline.
Yes.
Laughed about it, stood over him, gave him the finger even, before then he got annihilated. So
if Okada does a second job in a row, I will take everything back.
No, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Or I'll accept a DQ. But I don't like the idea of beating Bandito. Because then what? Like, shouldn't Okada get a shot at Bandito's Ring of Honor title after that? I mean, that would make sense, right? So I guess we'll find out what they do Wednesday. Hangman
What was the match? Oh, they got a shot at the tag titles because of that. The earlier match, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We got Hangman Page, Samoa Joe, AEW title. I thought this match actually was, it wasn't like a 5-star match, but it was perfect in that it was exactly as long as it needed to be. It was exactly what it needed to be. The actual finish itself was like the best finish on the show. And, of course, Hangman won. He killed this poor guy with a dead eye. Looked like he murdered him. And then hit a buckshot. Joe didn't go down. Another buckshot. Joe didn't go down. Third buckshot. Joe goes down. Gets the pin. And then they do the ops hitting the ring to console Joe. And Joe shakes Hangman's hand and raises his arm in victory. He's back to being a babyface again. And then he kills him. And the entire ops, all of them have turned heel. And
Shibata lost his brain again.
They stomped down Hangman. Joe gave him the muscle buster. Yeah, Shibata is now a heel. Katsuyori Shibata is a heel.
Brian, you said this was not a 5-star match. So in your opinion, this is not as good as the Dudleys versus Hardys at the last TNA pay-per-view?
What an irony that Bubba said that was the last great tag team match, and then we have this show where we have like a bunch of way better tag team matches. Like nothing against. Wow. I mean, they did the best they could. I thought they did a great job with the
crowd was
farewell, but I mean they're all much older now, and it's hard to have a tag match as good as Okada and Takeshita versus Brodito, among others. Jet Speed and FTR. So then we had the main event of Darby and Jon Moxley. And what did you think of this one?
This was amazing for what it was because it was largely just smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
If you watch the actual match, I don't know how long it went, probably 20, 25 minutes, somewhere in there. But there's only like maybe 10 things that happened throughout, but they were all built to perfectly. It was built around just Darby got beat up. He got a little bit of offense right at the beginning when Moxley refused to acknowledge the AEW flag, walked all over it, and Darby drop-kicked him and got a little bit of offense in, but then it was pretty much smooth sailing for Moxley and not for Darby as the rest of the Death Riders got involved. He was able to, he sprayed lighter fluid, Darby did, on Garcia and Wheeler and at least took them out for a bit. But Claudio came in, launched him overhead with the most ridiculous running gorilla press slam from one side of the ring to the outside onto the announce desk. Darby bounced like he was a jack. Is that what they are?
Yes.
And,
that's a dated reference from 70 years ago.
And then, he got beat up more and more. Eventually, they brought an aquarium into the ring and tried to waterboard him, but the lights went out. When they came back on, it was Darby's best friend, his mentor, coming to his aid.
Old Man
Sting.
A man called Old Man Sting.
He's there with the bat. He takes out the rest of the Death Riders, smashes the aquarium into pieces, which I understand. I think they wanted the visual of he's in the broken glass and the water, but you can't even see the broken glass after Sting breaks the aquarium. But he breaks the aquarium. There's glass in the ring. Darby takes Moxley out. He hits a coffin drop, hits him with a bat a few times, locks him in the Scorpion Deathlock, and Moxley, draped in water. I think he had a cloth over his face almost too. There's something there. He is drowning. He taps out immediately. And like I said, for what it was, but smoke and mirrors from start to finish, it was pretty damn great performance from both guys. I wish, honestly, that they hadn't broken the aquarium. I wish they could have figured out a way for Moxley to go face first into it and it not break while he's in the Deathlock, so then he's drowning and has to give up there. But I mean, that's a small nitpick.
Can you imagine being Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, and a few days before the show they tell you no blood and no crowd brawling for your I Quit match, and they had to come up with something, and man, they did. And
Well,
then-
luckily, Moxley's been in situations where he would have to get hit with a TV from 40 feet outside the ring, and he's been given some awful, awful stuff. So I'm sure his creative juices were going and ready to make the best of it.
I did hear complaints that he submitted too early, but to me, it's like he's a heel. He's a hypocrite.
And everyone was taken out.
Yes.
The last savior that he has is usually Marina Shafir, and the superhero Sting, old man Sting, came back and took her out of the equation. So he had nothing left to save him.
I think there's a storyline reason which I talked about, which was, he was all alone at the end of the day and no one to save him, so he just quit. But there's also, I think, the real life reason, which was they were completely out of time. And, the moment he gave up and Darby ran up and started celebrating with that flag in the corner, it was off the air. So I think it was probably also a timing issue. And I think someone also said that, he might have, sliced up his arm and they had to, end quickly before the, commission decided they were going to try and stop it or something. But I think mostly it was a timing issue. But I'm sure they're going to turn it into a storyline issue as well, which you can very easily do. Based on everything that you just said. So,
a large portion of the storyline, too, if you watch the match, Moxie's screaming at him, they don't care about you. I'm the only one that cares about you. So perhaps Moxley finally saw what he wanted out of Darby and then could give up.
He could, because that was the story. That Darby wants Moxley to quit. Not just quit the match, but quit being this Jon Moxley and wave that AEW flag, which is going to happen at some point down the road.
I just hope I get my book back.
What book was that again?
Phil Schneider's Way of the Blade.
Golly. Disgusting. Tonight's Raw, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed appear. Adam Pearce will give us an update on Seth Rollins' status. We got Becky Lynch against Maxine Dupree, which is for the Intercontinental title. And
Maxine beat her a few weeks ago?
Count out. It was silly. This is Maxine's hometown, so I do not expect a title change. Dominic versus Rusev for the Intercontinental title, and Finn Balor and JD against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, which I think could be a tag team title change. But we'll get Tom's thoughts on this after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Jared, put old Granny on. Let's see what she's up to. Oh, man, she's doing something. Oh, Lord.
She's trying to plug in the box, Brian.
Granny can't connect. And so I call her on the phone, and she alerts us that she apparently knocked the box off her desk. Whatever's happening right there, that doesn't look good. She knocked down the camera now? What's going on?
She's got a hold of the camera, I think.
She's okay. Well, we've got the ceiling at least. There's the box. Hey, we got the box, Jared. Does it look like it's plugged in?
No.
It's definitely not on.
No.
Okay. That's her back, I believe. She appears to be doing something.
Apparently yoga.
That's her hair. Are we sure that's not Ric Flair? Now she's got to find the phone, too.
Think anyone's going to still subscribe after the show?
I hope we get a bunch of video signups. This is interesting.
Is it now?
Oh, man, we can almost see the front of the tie line to see if it's on. But we can't. We can only see the side of it, as well as a flashlight and dice. I don't know why there are dice there.
Well, you never know when you're going to play dice in the dark.
She's still doing something.
That's good radio, boss.
Show that again, what's she doing?
You know what's a good show is the Big VV show.
Is it?
Or if you Pod Armenia 2025.
She might be tying her shoe or something.
Ed and San Antonio show.
Granny is furiously doing something. It's possible that we should sabotage the box every week.
No!
So that she can, get up and down, like Roddy Piper once said. No, I know. I'm calling you. Phone. I'm calling you. Oh, my God. How are you?
I'm exhausted. Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. That sounded very sincere.
Stunning review.
Anyway.
Can we please make that into a commercial, Jared, for Vinny's show? Apple Podcast carries every podcast that we produce.
Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
So check it out, f4wonline.com/Apple. Try your free trial today. What is happening here? Yes, Granny?
I don't care if it's show or what. My computer went out and I can't fix it.
Okay. Jared, can you fix Granny's computer?
He tried to get a pin.
I am Steve.
Brian, what are you doing?
Now my child is sending me a voice message.
Steel chicken jockey.
Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Philly Tom joining us. Any comments on Raw tonight?
No, but I would like to mention a few things from SmackDown.
Yes.
Before we go real quick. It is the year 2025, and I promise you at one point they showed a commercial and clips of Mean Gene Okerlund taking a bath with the Hulkster from Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, which you can watch on YouTube. We also found out in an interview that this year so far in WWE, the person with the best winning percentage, Tiffany Stratton.
Yes.
17-1, 944 win percentage, brought to us by Arby's. The Motor City Machine Guns had their 1-year anniversary. They beat the same team they debuted against, Los Garza. And, of course, we had that fantastic Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov match. And Cody Rhodes looks to be facing off with Drew McIntyre once again after their brawl ended the show.
I got to say that Tiffany Stratton being 17-1 in the entire year is one of the issues with modern-day professional wrestling.
Is she up for that Lou Thez Award?
17 matches, or 18 matches, I guess, in an entire year. It's already October. People need to get work. Not blaming her. Just need more house shows. But at least we got that holiday house show tour. They'll all get 12 in the course of a very short period of time, so that's good. All right, we got to wrap it up. We'll be back tomorrow to talk Raw. I'll be back tonight with Dave for subscribers with all of the news, the Raw Report, and more. And then Lance Storm will join us tomorrow. Lots of stuff up on the front page. Lots of shows this weekend for subscribers, recapping the AW pay-per-view and SmackDown, so check those out. And Brian and Vinny tomorrow talking TNA Impact 20 years ago this week. Talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.